in there and he can feel himself grow. Okay, cool. So he gets up and off the table, and we're all just looking at him, and we all watch his back go straight and his chest go straight, like the humps are gone. And we're talking this all happened within 2 minutes, 3 minutes. He said
Wow.
this is so. I mean, he had to kind of grok it because when people get a miracle, they just kind of go, "Wow, that's kind of weird," And so he looked down and he said, "I've never seen my chest and navel on the same plane." That was the first time. But so the tee up for him getting before he got on the table was, "Say, Phil, I looks like you took something on from your mom and dad,
Mm.
in utero, and you might want to give that back. They were both, have passed on. You might want to give that back. Doesn't matter if they're alive or not." And I think he heard that. And so the bowls activated his blueprint. Okay, so listen to how I talk about this. So the the Tibetan bowls, because they have a vibration, a tone, and
Mm.
visible light, those three things happening at one time activate what is called the divine blueprint. And everybody
Okay.
has one, and
Okay.
so do horses, so do all animals. And because I've worked on them and I've had similar results. And so everybody has that at conception. That's God's gift to all of us. So what the bowls do, because they have the tone or the vibration, tone, and light, they activate that blueprint. The blueprint infuses back into the cells and below that into the atoms. And I've talked about this for 17 plus years, and actually longer, because this also I learned this activation piece in the course called Body Electronics, which is sustained pressure holding. In 1984, that's where my start really of all this came from. So um, when the blueprint is activated, the blueprint is never got a deviation or something, an error in it, because God doesn't create error.
Right.
Okay, God only creates perfection. So you get the blueprint of perfection infused into your body, which is your own. Okay, it's not mine. It's not somebody else's. It's not the bulls. The bulls simply activate it. So your blueprint does the healing itself for you. Okay. So in Phil's case, Phil's back was at conception was perfect. He just took something on that distorted it in
Uh,
utero. So that's when I said, "Well, Phil, why don't you just give it back to your parents? They're not going to care. They're not in a body." So he obviously did that and then activated his own blueprint, and his spine was straight. It still is.
wow.
Still
Wow.
is.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
normally what they do with that is, they put Harrington rods in the back, surgically put Harrington rods in the back and do their best to straighten out. And I mean, he probably had one of the worst scoliosis I've ever seen in 35 years. I mean, it was bad. So that
And
was
you
one
did it,
thing.
and you didn't I mean, this is amazing because you didn't touch him. And this is the point I want people to get. You
No, no,
didn't
no, I did no.
physically.
No, the bowls were on his body. The bowls were on his
Oh, the
body.
bowls were on his body, but the bowls were emitting sound. The bowls were not putting,
Correct.
you weren't like pressing on the bowls or doing chiropractic with the bowls. The
No, no, no,
bowls
no,
were
no, no. The bowls
emitting
were just running
sound.
up one side of his back and down the other.
Wow. Wow. One of the things that's going to be a big idea here, a core tenet of what we're going to talk about today. If you get this one thing, right, everything will make sense. And that is the idea of a divine blueprint. Now, the idea is that once we get back in alignment with that divine blueprint, right, Bill, it informs, like you said, the skeletal structure, the cells, the
Every
muscles,
cell
the
in your body,
body. It
every cell.
informs everything. So tell us more about this divine blueprint. It's
Okay,
not about the
I got another
bowls.
story for you. I
Okay.
have a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
zillion.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna call you Wild Bill.
But that's exactly what my
Because
father used to call me.
is it really? Because it's a wild
Yes,
ride with Bill. We don't know
that's
what's gonna
exactly what he called me, Wild Bill.
Wild Bill. I love it. It's a wild
So
ride.
okay, so I have a 7-year-old son, and Nico, and he has a buddy, Gavin, and Gavin was on his scooter, and something his back wheel grabbed, and he went head over the handlebars, smacked his forehead right on concrete. Okay, so he was really quite affected, and he was delayed. He couldn't put
Oh,
sentences, and this, you know, he's 7 years old. He
yeah.
couldn't put sentences together. He had mom would say something, and he kind of have to think about it before it made sense, and so there was quite a bit of that happening. And so I just said, well, his mom didn't know anything about bowls, and I said, well, you know, let's see what. Here's the tee up. Let's see what it'll do. So without expectation. So he lays on the table. I put bowls around him. He you could see the kind of shadow over his eyes. And he
Mm.
just looks at me after, I mean, we're talking 2 minutes, 3 minutes. He just looks at me and the sun is shining out of those eyes and out of his face, and he's back. The delay is gone. All the symptoms of a head injury, and this, you know, he was dealing with his head injury for a good 6, 8 months. I mean, the aftermath of it.
Okay.
So there was no presence of that head injury left. It was gone. All pieces, all aspects of it gone. So okay, so the infusion of the blueprint happened in his brain. It reformatted his brain to what it's supposed to be according to his own blueprint, and so he had no symptoms of concussion and head injury, brain damage, nothing.
Wow. Wow.
And of
Yeah.
course, kids heal fast, but you know, they took him to the doctor. He wasn't getting any help, you know.
Let me know what y'all think about these stories. We're going to be diving into a bit more of this and
Well,
kind of
I've got people wanting to tell you stuff.
I know, I know. Well, I want to ask you a little bit about this divine blueprint too. Um, what is it people need to understand about the divine blueprint? This is something that we are born with when we come into this
Conceived
world,
with,
conceived
conceived
with.
with.
So, what causes maybe a shift or or a different alignment or misalignment to that divine blueprint?
No, there's no misalignment with a blueprint. The blueprint stays perfect.
Okay, but
So the DNA and the blueprint are separate. Okay,
okay,
so whatever so you know, pains, traumas, uh, you know, various situations hurt the physiology and hurts the DNA. The blueprint it supersedes the DNA. It's above the DNA. The blueprint can change the DNA. The blueprint can change everything back to what you were conceived to be, which was perfect.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, as we grow in utero, we take on mom and dad stuff. You know, that distorts us. Okay. But the blueprint never changes. The perfection never changes.
we've got Linda says, I'd love to be able to completely align back to my DNA blueprint. Give me some
No, no, no. Okay,
examples.
okay. Let's
All
stop.
right.
DNA is separate from blueprint. The
Okay.
blueprint infuses into the DNA and changes it. Okay, they're separate. Which is what I mean. I get that this is a concept that most people don't get. I get
Right.
that.
Right.
Okay. And it's like, it's hard for people to grasp it. Okay. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, but because I've seen, I mean, you know, the reason we use transfiguration in the offer is because that's what it is. It's a actual transfiguration of one state of being to which is distorted to a perfect state of being, which is what we're all conceived with.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a heart condition, if you have a this condition, if you have a that condition, if you have a heredity issue, all of that is DNA. None of that is blueprint. Okay?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
completely separate.
The
But the
blueprint is at a
blueprint,
level.
when activated,
Mhm.
changes the whole terrain of every cell structure in the body. It doesn't matter what the cell is, bone, nerve, you know, vein, blood. It doesn't, it's irrelevant.
Okay. I've got a question. I want to keep unpacking this blueprint
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
because it's so core. It's not about, well, let me let you in. When I say it's not about the bowls, is that correct? It's not about the bowls, right? It's about the blueprint.
Well,
Or is
the
it about
bolts
both?
activate the blueprint. See,
Correct.
there are few things in this world that actually activate the blueprint. Okay, bowls just happen to be one of them, and it's fast, and it sounds good, and it's like beautiful sounding. You know,
Mm, mm. Okay.
but it's not always pleasant, just like David talked about. He had this, in the group session, he had this, funnel, basically this vortex, start at his waist and go right through his body, pulling this stuff out of his body. I mean, I couldn't make that up. I mean, I didn't know that was going to happen. And he
Yeah.
said it was not pleasant. It was like, but he said, wow. I mean,
Wow.
this lasted like, we're talking 15 minutes, maybe a half an
Wow.
hour. Okay. And it was like, he could, he gets dumbfounded. It was, he was dumbfounded. My buddy Carl was dumbfounded. My buddy Andrew was dumbfounded. I mean, Gavin was dumbfounded. They're just like, I can't believe it. It's like, wow. I'm like, normal again. That's it. That it's like you become what you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Now I got a question. I want to keep
Okay.
on this topic because it's
Yeah.
so important for folks. Penny wrote in, she said, I fell off playground equipment head first when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
In what way might this have affected my blueprint? Now that
No, no,
that
no. It doesn't
those are
affect your blueprint. It affects your body.
correct. That's why I wanted to ask that question. There's a little distinction here we're going to open up for everyone.
Right.
So explain a little bit more about that for Penny, because there's a few other people that are saying, well, I feel that my blueprint is activated. There's another
How do
comment
you
from
know?
Annette.
I don't know
How
when
do you
my
know?
blueprint's
Okay.
activated.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we're getting the nuances here. This is good.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Okay. So explain a little bit more about that for Penny. So someone falls off something, someone has a heartbreak, someone has trauma or emotional uh discord that they hold in their body. What is happening now between, and I'm going to just assume the blueprint maybe being a little at a higher level, just
Well, think of
metaphorically,
it. Okay. Here's
and
my
the body.
hand. Here's my hand. Here's the blueprint.
Hmm.
Okay. So the sound vibration. Okay. So what's the question?
Fell off head first when I was
Well,
5.
it did.
In what
Okay.
way
So
did that affect my blueprint?
your blueprint's just waiting to be activated. Okay. It's like your
Mm,
aura. It's not your aura, but it's like your aura. It's an
right,
energetic.
right.
Okay. And so your body got hurt. Okay. Um, and your body formed around and healed that hurt. But if the blueprint gets activated, then it can, if directed correctly, it can go in and completely take apart your body's partial or mostly healed
Yeah,
section of
right.
how it compensated for the trauma. And if you still
Yeah.
have trauma in there from that incident, then you're not fully healed. That's one of the deals with bowls. It completely clears the traumas.
Wow. Oh man.
And so bodies heal completely.
Is anybody's like mind? I mean, I'm getting it. I get it. Anybody though, just going,
Well,
man,
I
I
mean,
feel
you've been
like
around
I'm
this
as like
healing stuff
I've
forever,
been
man.
around
I
for a
mean,
while.
yeah,
But for some folks takes it a while. Takes it may take a little while. Now, the bowls. We're going to talk about your
yeah.
bowls, and in a moment we're going to feel some of this too. So we could talk and talk and talk forever. It's in feeling what's going to happen here that really creates the magic. These bowls are not your run of the mill bowls. There's
No.
things that uh come out of them. There's doorways, portals. Explain a little bit about what might be different about this bowl experience than something someone might find somewhere else.
Uh, talk about the bulls. Well, the bulls specifically. Well, first of all, they're
They're
they're old
old. Yeah,
old
old bowls.
Tibetan sing. Well, the Tibetan ancient Tibetan singing bowls is like a title. They're bronze bowls, all made usually in multiple places. They can be India, Nepal, or Myanmar, or used to be called Burma.
Yeah.
And that all those countries are around or next to the Himalayas, and the Himalayas have specific ore deposits that are very different than and configured differently than other ore deposits around the world. So they get the ore, they smelt the ore, they make little ingots, and then they heat them up and start pounding on them and praying and setting intention as they create these bowls. And they've done that for centuries. And so I've gotten all the bowls I use are antique, old. I sell them too. If anyone's interested in those, I do that. because they're the real deal. And they sell a lot of new bowls now, and they can make new bowls look like they're 300 years old. I mean, they're very good at that deception. But you hear an old bowl, you hear a new bowl, you feel an old bowl. So that's why they're so different. Um,
Yeah, and you've
and
mentioned
they
that.
well, here's okay. There's more.
Okay,
I'm just
sure,
like
sure.
so. Another thing is that because the monks work with them, right? Because they before 1970s they were just considered like a begging bowl. Well, that's what they wanted you to think anyway. And then since the 70s, they came out, various people around the world. Frank Perry was the guy in the UK that brought the bowls to the UK. Michener is a guy in Pennsylvania that brought the bowls to, one guy that brought the bowls to the US on the East Coast. And then West Coast was Karma Moffat. And there were other guys too. But they went to Nepal and Tibet and found bowls in monasteries, and they brought them back, and then they started having amazing results. And you know, I've I've been around real deal old guys in Nepal playing bowls, and I ask them, well, have you seen this kind of result or that kind of result? Or they just kind of look at me. I
Mm,
go, well, have you seen that?
mm,
Or they go, well, I've heard of it. Hmm.
mhm.
Because they don't use them like I use them, and and it's not like I'm better than because it is they. Here's see to me, I don't know what this can't do. I don't know because it
Okay,
is done more and more. I mean, it just completely blows my mind. At least once a week, once a month. Something new comes in once a month at least. And it's like, I just don't have a mindset as to, well, this is what it is, and this is what it's made of, and this is what it does, and this is only what it does. I don't have any of that. I have,
right.
this is what it is it? And this is what it can do. Oh, really? And yeah, but have you seen cancer gone in 2 sessions? Hmm, I have. Have you seen severe scoliosis is gone in 10, 15 minutes? I have. These stories that I tell are not stories that I make up or that somebody tells me. I was there. I watched it
Right.
happen.
Wow. Wow. I gotta say, everyone's different. So, like I said, we're not making a medical claim that that's going to happen to you, but
No, we
Bill
don't
seems
know. The reality is
we
we
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
But
You,
what I want to talk about in this interview is, and also in the offer I'm doing, 4 weeks of specifically. I'm not trying to talk about the offer right now, but 4 weeks, once a week, specifically how to set up the healing modality so that you get the results. I mean,
yeah.
what's the point if I can do it and you can? There's no point to that.
That's true. That's true. Well, I want to get to a couple questions. I know a lot of people are
Yeah.
excited to feel the bowls. There's questions about abundance. There's questions about kind of just feeling better in the body. What are some things you've seen the bowls do? Maybe just as in terms of like life improvement or getting us out of maybe these states of suffering and lack and poverty, because I don't think that's natural to our blueprint necessarily, right?
Natural has nothing. No, that's we put
That's
that
unnatural.
on.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Wow.
Um, okay. Well, let's talk poverty then. So, a lot of times the poverty piece comes in that we, take on things for mom and dad. We watch how they operate with money, or
Right.
or how they work with us with money when we want stuff as children. Because everything lays down by the time we're 6 years old. Those patterns, and then of course we can get it, epigenetically, just from just genetically from mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, and how so then we carry on with doing that. um, the cool thing about the bowls is there is no lack in our blueprint. That does not exist. That is a something that is a mind construct and an emotional um, connection and belief, and an emotional connection and belief and agreement that this is the way it is. And so when people experience bowls, they really go into a multidimensional, which is why we call it 12D, a
Okay.
multidimensional state where there isn't that constricted,
Yeah.
coagulated mindset and emotional content that says, well, this is how it really is from a financial standpoint or
I
abundance
get it.
standpoint,
Yes.
or I am
Yes.
limit. So the belief is I am limited. Okay.
Right.
I can only do it this way, or it only can be that way. And the universe says, "Au contraire, little buddy, open your mind and watch how things, flow in."
I
Does that
agree.
help?
That makes a lot of sense. That's amazing. The other thing that I've noticed with this work, and we're going to dive in and start feeling this, is a lot of people have to understand that sound is extremely effective because it bypasses the mind. It goes somewhere else. Well, our mind absorbs some of it, but it goes everywhere. Anything you want to explain about that? It's not about thinking or efforting necessarily, as it is about, it's like I've heard said, ingesting. What does that mean to you, Bill? That we're not efforting, we're kind of like ingesting, we're letting it come in and do
Well,
its
that
thing.
even ingesting is kind of like too much work,
Mm.
but you know what I mean? It's like um, let's see, you're laying. You don't even have to lay there, but you're laying there or sitting there with your eyes closed. Let's say you bought the package A and you're listening to the sound files. Okay, so you've already set an intention as to what you want to create in this reality, and you just laying there is always good because you don't have to hold your body up,
Mm,
and with your eyes closed, and you just let the sound roll through you because it just infuses really into every cell of your body, and you just allow it to pass through. And because we are water, depending on who you read, 70-90%, um, these sound waves, which all also, by the way, create visible light in the body. Sound
okay.
is a step down of visible light. Okay. And so these sound waves and light emanations create geometric patterns, i.e., cymatics, and
Yes.
those geometrics recalibrate and reform the cell structures and the organs and glands as to what they're supposed to be. That's another infusion piece besides the blueprint, and I think the blueprint actually directs the type of geometrics that you form or that form in the body. Also, your intention creates geometrics and an envelope of where these energies, where you want them to go. Does that make
Incredible.
sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And it's part about it that you always mention about taking responsibility, the attitude that you bring into the experience. With that, I want
Well, we got
to.
to talk about that.
Okay, for sure. And I want to give people a little taste. Can we do a little quick test, maybe a couple minutes? I know,
For sure.
maybe a minute or two. Let's we'll open the field a little bit with the bowls. It'll just be a little taster. And we have some cool things coming. I believe someone's going to join us named Carl. I'm not seeing
Yeah, yeah,
Carl
he's
yet,
waiting.
so
He's waiting.
he's waiting. Okay, well, is he on or is he okay? He's
Carl,
waiting.
do you see him? He says he doesn't. I got to send him another link.
Oh yeah, I don't see him right
Okay,
now.
okay.
Um,
Do you see Andrew De Jesus on? De Jesus? Andrew De Jesus?
let me look here. I don't see Andrew DeJesus. No, no, but I think they'll come. Uh, let me get to your questions. I know you guys probably have some questions. And we've got Odile says, yeah, this is all permeating. Yeah, permeating
There,
the
that's a good
blueprint.
word.
That's a great word.
Yeah.
Um, that's an amazing word. Okay, we've got another question. I started having anxiety and depression after my playground fall. Thank you for that explanation about
Hold on,
compensation. It tracks
okay, let's
all
take
to my
her. Wait,
experience.
Darius, bring her
Okay.
back. Let's just focus on her. We'll send her
Okay.
energy. Okay, what's her
Okay.
name? So I'll pull bowls for her. What's her name?
Penny? I don't know. Penny, do you want to unmute yourself and chat with Bill?
You want to rock and bowl, Penny?
I mean, we got Wild Bill on, so we never know what's gonna happen.
It's
Penny,
wild.
I can unmute you. There's no script. We don't know what's going on. We're all over. It's fun. So let me see, Penny,
Darius,
if
we
you wanna
always have
talk.
fun.
All right, we got Penny on. She's gonna talk. So there
Penny,
we go, man.
Penny, you want to do this?
Up, she unmuted now. See, it's wild, man. Penny, you just unmuted. All right, hold on. See where she's at. All right, we'll wait here. All right. Penny, if you can unmute yourself, that'd be great. Why don't we start, Bill, and then we'll
Okay.
see if Penny
Okay.
unmutes
So
herself.
is this coming through?
It's coming through, brother.
Okay. This is for Penny. Penny, if you can hear me, just say. Okay. So here's your intention.
Hmm.
My head is perfect as God knows it to be, and my nervous system, because it's not just your head and brain, but it's your entire nervous system. Okay. And the this high pitch sound goes right to your nervous system.
Hmm.
A little more. One more thing. Okay, see this bowl right here? This is called a Manipuri. That
Okay.
bowl, and I've talked about this on prior shows, but that bowl I worked with around a woman's head. Her name is Ruth. She was 74 years old. This is year probably 3 of doing bowls, and she had had a brain aneurysm, and they went in and surgically removed that, which is a vein blows up in the brain, and it's like if they don't get it, it explodes, and then they die of a hemorrhage. So they go in and surgically remove that. Left her left eye peripherally blind, so she couldn't see on the side, and left ear deaf, and her eyes are asymmetrical, so they're like this, right? So they
Hmm.
always had to change fix her glasses. So I used that bowl around her head just to see what it would do because I didn't know, and all of a sudden she gets real excited, and because she can see the person next to her, and she goes,
Wow.
and as she's going, wow, I was peripherally blind. She goes, oh wow, I can hear my left ear opening. I can hear out of my left ear. And I looked at a person next to her and I looked back at her. Her eyes were level, and she had had glasses being adjusted because she was asymmetrical. So I went, well, that's pretty cool. And when asked, well, Ruth, why do you think this happened? She goes, well, I meditate every day. Bowls deflect recognition. Okay, just like the monks.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Let me know what y'all are feeling and what's going on. I want to hear your stories of kind of how this is impacting you. It sounded amazing, Bill. I mean, truly incredible stuff.
I mean,
And
but this is the stuff that I mean I've been seeing for 17 years.
yeah.
I mean, wild. I think that's maybe we should change it. Child. title, Wild Tibetan Singing Bowls.
I love that. I love that. Now, it was so cool. Yeah, let us know what you're feeling and what that felt like. We've got a guest, and I want to be aware of his time. We have Carl who wanted to come on and share, and he's
Cool.
actually on.
Oh,
So
good. Hey, Carl.
Carl, I'm gonna send you an unmute request. I think you're still muted. You should see something pop up. And
Um,
There he
howdy there.
is. Hi, buddy.
Hello.
You're looking good.
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick, Carl. What happened? I know you got a chance to hang out with Bill and some bowls and have some interesting experiences. What's going on?
Well, it was not the first time I've worked with Bill. Uh,
Wait, so everyone knows, we've been friends 38 years.
so historically, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago, uh, Bill and I reconnected, and I went down to Eugene, found out, learned about bowls, and he said, "Well, you should play them and take one." And so I played a number of them. Of course, I played all the ones that I don't know, they're 6 or 8 inches because they're bigger. And I was kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. It's kind of a nice sound. And then I started playing some small ones, and I picked up one small one. I should go. I should
You can
go get
grab
it.
it if it's there.
You want me to go get it? It might take a minute or two.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Tell me what your experience was. So I know we're going to be taking some callers here in a moment.
Okay. My
Small one
experience
like
was at
this.
that point, yeah, it's a small one. I played it and I heard it in the center of my head, and it was
Mm,
going like ding ding. It was just like the vibration was just moving throughout my whole brain. And so obviously that's the one I kept. I find I studied vibration and singing for, I don't know, 10 years, all through the 80s. Uh, and I think, to me, understanding the vibrations that the bells bring and what the effect is, well, at least for me, a lifelong pursuit. Uh, I had a very major surgery, um,
How
uh,
long ago, Carl?
February 28th,
Okay.
uh,
Of this year.
of this year, yeah. And then uh, I'm still somewhat recovering from it. Uh, Bill was kind enough to come and visit me. I live in Oregon. Uh, and he gave me a treatment that,
Wait. Let's back up. Let's back up.
yeah,
How long were you in the hospital?
21 days.
Okay. And what was the condition?
Uh,
Sepsis.
Not quite sepsis. They were fighting off
Oh,
sepsis the whole time.
okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Uh, and so he gave me a treatment with a number of bells around me and on me. There was one on my chest, and the vibration usually carries through the air. This one was both through the air and vibrated throughout
mm,
my whole body. He was
mm,
playing a number of them. It was kind of timeless, so I don't know how long it went on. Uh, but it significantly accelerated uh, the healing that I was experiencing. Day by day, you get a little bit stronger.
mm.
Uh,
That's so great.
but
So great.
uh, they have a way. It's kind of like if I come into a room and it's all filled with smoke, and I open the windows and it all gets blown out.
Yeah.
Uh, the bells have a clarity, at least that's my experience, of reorganizing and uh,
Yeah.
taking one back to uh, normal, which,
Transfiguring. Yeah.
I'm still in
Transfiguring.
the process of doing that, but and still playing the bells, which help a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't understand them. I've read a lot, seen a lot, but I am aware of the results and the effects of them.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you so much, my friend.
Perfect.
That was such a great story, and we're glad you're on the mend. And Bill, so glad to have you here helping humanity and helping great people like Carl and some more folks we're going to get to. So thank you, Carl, so much for sharing your story. I'm glad you're on the mend. You look great, and I only see upward path from here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
right.
Thanks,
All
buddy.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. I want to grab some callers. I know people say, well, that's great. Carl got some huge help. What about me? Well, we're going to go to some of y'all. So I'm going to go to Linda, Linda, Linda. Linda, ooh, wait a second. A lot of people raise their hand here. Linda, sending you an unmute request. If you want to turn on your video, we're going to be taking some time to help some folks here.
Thank you
Linda,
so much.
yeah.
Hi,
Hello, Linda.
Darius. Hi, Bill. I
Hi.
love
Hi.
the Tibetan bowls. I have one that's really pretty. I have a couple of little ones, but I love the big bowls because I always think that they go penetrate and through all your whole body. Yes, I would love some help with like stretching, like you were saying about the miracle of restored blueprint for that.
So, okay, so
Stretching.
let's
In my
What is
back
that?
and my
Oh.
There you go.
shoulders.
Okay, so how long have you had this condition or the scenario?
Probably the last 5 years, probably.
Whoop. Okay, and I'm scanning your body now. Uh, all right, so Linda,
Yes,
do you mind if I give you my? Can I just tell you what's coming in?
sure.
Okay, cool. So, are you holding any resentment?
No,
Okay, did you hold resentment 5 years ago and got rid of it?
yes.
Okay, this is the aftermath of this because what you're across the shoulders and down, that's all liver.
Okay.
Okay, so this if you've already released it, but was it pretty intense when you were going through that?
Yes.
Yeah, this is aftermath. Okay,
Mhm.
and because it was so long lasting, your body got really used to holding that pattern. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Tight,
Yes.
Mhm.
pissed, ready to deal in a moment. Okay, so what do I need? Oh, um,
So Bill is selecting the bowl.
yeah, I've got
Interesting.
2 shelves. I probably got 100 so bowls. Okay, let's. Okay, so Linda,
Yes.
where I want you to go is that in your mind say, look, even though I don't consciously know how I created this, I did create this unconsciously because
Okay.
if I do say I created it, then I can uncreate it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay. So what I want to do is release this residue because that's all this is residue. Release
Okay.
this residue. However it was that I created it unconsciously and or consciously, with all the aspects of it, I want to dissolve and have become null and void. Okay.
Null and void. Yes. Thank you.
So close your eyes and just feel it.
I
Is it going in?
Yes.
Good. Okay, your body's telling me that it wants you to ask for forgiveness, what you've done to it. I mean, just say, please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
And we're not gonna go, we're
Thank
going
you.
to avoid going back there. That is done, that is over. It's no more and it won't happen again.
Okay. Thank
So be
you.
it. Okay, good.
Please forgive me.
Yeah. Good. A little more, just a little cleanup here. Yeah, this is good.
Wow.
That really works. Oh,
Okay, yep. That was the last touch. How do you feel?
that was amazing. I really feel a difference. Thank you so much, both of you. I'm so appreciative.
Oh, thanks for
Wow.
calling. You're welcome.
Yeah. What are
Thank
you
you,
feeling
thank you,
right
thank you.
now?
Yeah, yeah,
Linda,
just
what's going
it,
on?
it came in and I felt like my heart just released it and it was amazing and it just like dissolved. It went away. It was great.
see, that's
What
it. The dissolving piece. Exactly.
what was it? You said it.
The
What was
the resentment, the
okay?
unforgiveness, it all dissolved and it went away.
So
I
it
Excellent.
could
was
when
uh,
the last bowl and the one just before that, that did something. It like broke it up and it's like boom, it was gone.
Yep.
okay. Wow. All
And
right.
okay,
Thank you,
so as
Linda.
you move your muscles, as you move your
Yep.
shoulder,
Yep.
how's it feel?
Much better, much more released. And actually I felt myself actually stretching.
There you go.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you. Thank you, thank
Wow.
you, thank you. All
Welcome.
my
Thank you,
heart.
Linda.
I thank you with all my heart.
Amazing. All right, everyone listening in on the live stream, if you're on one of the social sites, I'm going to cut the live stream. Everyone on Zoom, of course, you're going to keep hearing all this. Check the replay if you're on the live stream and one of the social sites. It's going to be on